Hello students, welcome to the lecture series on hypothesis testing. So I would like to recollect what all things we have learned till now. Till now we have learned about the how to write the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. We have also seen about the one-tailed and two-tailed test. Now let us introduce ourselves to the p-value. First of all, before going into the definition and concepts behind the p-value, I would like to ask you a question. Why is it worth learning? I mean, why are we concerned with the p-value? And in statistics, we now then see this term p-value, p-value. Everybody is talking about the p-value. So what is this p-value? Okay, so p-value helps in making an argument which is backed by a statistically significant result. Okay, so okay, and so what does it mean? It means that if I say that early riser are top performer or average size of chocolate form factor is so and so, for all this we need to perform the hypothesis test. And for all the hypothesis testing, I mean, p-value is a kind of a statistical tool, okay, which produces the result on the basis of which you accept or reject your null hypothesis. Okay, so it has got a lot of applications in hypothesis testing, determining the statistical significance of the result. Okay, so we will look into the different types of p-value. Okay, so let us come to the definition of p-value. Definition of p-value is written: it is the probability of obtaining a sample more extreme than the ones observed in your data, assuming null hypothesis is true. Let us consider this as sampling distribution of mean. Let us assume that our null hypothesis, that is mean of population, is 80, okay, and we get a sample mean of data as 95. We can also assume that the standard deviation of population is 3, that is sigma is 3. In our sampling distribution of mean, this would be mean of population from the central limit theorem, and it would be equal to 80. Okay, and our mean of sample is 95, x bar is 95. According to the definition, p-value is the probability under this curve. Okay, since this is the probability that sample mean is greater than 95, so this will be our p-value. Okay, so since this is probability of extreme data, extreme sample, so this would be our p-value. Okay, and how do we calculate this? This is the sampling distribution of mean, first graph. Second graph, we convert it into z curve. Okay, so we know that the z curve is standard distribution curve having mean as 0. Okay, and z statistic from our sample data would come out to be x bar minus mu divided by sigma divided by root over n is equal to 95 minus 80 divided by 3. Let's say that we have collected 40 samples. Root over 40. Okay, so what would be our p-value? P-value would be the area of the curve beyond this point, okay, so this would be our p-value. Okay, so we have seen a very rudimentary example of the p-value. Now let us see that what will be the p-value under three types of test, that is left tail test, right tail test and two tail test. In case of right tail test, p-value is the area under right hand tail. So what is the p-value under this case? If this is z statistic of sample data, p-value is the area under right hand tail, that is this. Why this is the case? Since the area under right hand tail would represent the probability of obtaining a more extreme value. Okay. In case of left tail test, what would be the p-value? P-value would be area under left hand tail. Here z sample is this, so this would be p-value. This would be p-value. Now in case of two tail test, p-value is the sum of area under right hand tail and left hand tail. So in case of two tail test, p-value would be, if this is p1, this is p2, that is the area under corresponding curve, then p-value would be p1 plus p2. Generally the distribution is symmetrical in nature, so p1 is equal to p2, okay, and this equation would be p-value becomes 2p. Okay, so now we are going to see example belonging to the 2 category, in which we are going to calculate p-value of the left tail test or right tail test and p-value in case of two tail test. So this example we have also seen in our lecture series of hypothesis testing. Here the average IQ of sample of 50 university students was found to be 105. So average IQ of our sample is found to be 105. You are carrying a statistical test to determine whether the average IQ of university students is greater than 100, assuming that IQ is normally distributed. Okay, so as we have already seen how to state the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis, in this question null hypothesis is mu of population is equal to 100 and alternate hypothesis is mu of population is greater than 100. Okay, and we are also given that standard deviation of IQ among students is approximately 20. Okay, so standard deviation of population is 20. Okay, now we are asked to calculate p-value. So let us write down these equations in the form of z statistic. Okay, so let us consider the curve of sampling distribution of mean. In case of this curve, the z statistic will be the standard normal distribution curve having mean as 0 and z of sample as x bar minus mu divided by sigma divided by root over n. So z of sample is calculated as 105 minus 100 divided by 20 divided by root over 50. So if I solve this would come out to be 1.76. Okay, so what is the probability? So to calculate this, we need to see the z distribution table. So we can easily see from the z distribution table that z statistic, that is 1.76, which falls under this category 1.7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the probability of the curve till z is equal to 1.76 is 0.9608. Okay, so as we have seen from the z distribution table, we got probability of z less than Z sample as 0.9608. Okay, so what does this area signify? This area signify the area under the curve till Z sample. Okay, so this is 0.9608. okay, but we are concerned with calculating the area of the curve under this tail. Okay, so this would be 1 minus 0.9608, that is 1 minus 0.9608 would be our p value. Okay, which would come out to be 0.0392. okay, so area under this curve is the p value, it would come out to be 0.039. now let us move to the next example. Okay, so now let us calculate p value for two-tail test. Here blood glucose levels for obese patients have a mean of 100 with a standard deviation of 15. A researcher thinks that a diet high in raw cornstarch will have positive or negative effect on blood glucose levels. Okay, so the contention of researcher is positive or negative effect. A sample of 30 patients who have tried the raw cornstarch diet have a mean glucose level of 105. Okay, then we are asked to calculate the p value. Okay, so given data from the question, we know that sample mean that is x bar is given as 105. Okay, now we need to write the null and alternate hypothesis. Okay, so as we have seen in the previous class how to write the null and alternate hypothesis, we will repeat it again. Okay, so what is the meaning of null hypothesis? Null hypothesis is the accepted claim, that is the accepted claim. Okay, so null hypothesis is mu, that is mean of blood glucose level, is equal to 100. From where did we get this? We get this from here, mean is 100. Okay, this is the accepted fact. Okay, and what is the hypothesis of researcher? That is the alternate hypothesis. Researcher believes that the diet high in raw cornstarch will have either positive or negative effect. Okay, so either the blood glucose level is going to increase or decrease. Okay, so mu is not equal to 100. Okay, that is the researcher claim. Okay, and we are also being given that sigma standard deviation is 15. From here standard deviation is 15 and samples is 30. Now we have already seen from the definition that p value is the probability of obtaining more extreme data. Okay, so since it is a two-tail test, thus area under both the tails would represent the probability of obtaining more extreme data. Okay, this we have seen in our previous slides. So we need to calculate, this is p1 which is the area under right tail, and this is p2 which is the area under left tail. Okay, what is this? This is z statistic which we derive from our sample data, and this would represent the more extreme data. Okay, so I am writing down the z statistic over here. So z will be x bar minus mu divided by sigma divided by root over n. This we know from the central limit theorem. Okay, since this is the standard distribution curve, standard normal distribution curve having mean 0. Okay, this is the z curve. Okay, so in this case what is the p value? P value would be p1 plus p2. Okay, but since this curve is symmetrical in nature, that is p1 is equal to p2 due to symmetrical curve. Thus p value is equal to 2p1. So if we derive the value of p1, then we can calculate the p value. So now let us calculate the z statistic, that is z from sample. So z sample is equal to this I have already written over here. Okay, so this I am calculating. Z sample is equal to 105 minus 100 divided by 15 divided by root over 30. Okay, I have just put the corresponding values in this equation, the equation given over here. Okay, so this would come out to be 1.8. Okay, so now we are going to see the Z distribution table and we are going to calculate the probability. So now this is the Z distribution table. In Z distribution table, along this vertical line we are being given the Z statistic. Okay, and we already know that table for Z gives area to the left of the Z statistic. Okay, so if the Z of our sample is 1.83 as we have derived, so corresponding to the value of 1.83 we get the value of 0.9664. Okay, so what is this value? This value is the probability of Z less than 1.83. So we have seen from the Z distribution table that here it is Z is equal to 1.83 and the Z distribution table gives the area to the left. Okay, so this area comes out to be 0.9664. Okay, but we are concerned with calculating the probability of Z greater than 1.83, that is this area. Okay, so what we will do, we will subtract this area from 1. Okay, so 1 minus 0.9664 is equal to 0.0336. Okay, so this is our P1. Okay, and we have already seen from this equation that P value is twice P1. Okay, so P value is equal to 2 times 0.0336. So it would come out to be 0.0672. Okay, so this is our P value, that is 0.0672. Now I would like to also touch upon a case of T statistic. See, T statistic we use when we don't know the standard deviation of the population. Okay, so when this is unknown we use the T statistic. What would have been the case had we not known the standard deviation, that is 15? If this has been not known, we would have used the T statistic. So in the next class, in the continuation of lecture series on hypothesis testing, we would see the how do we test the hypothesis. Okay, so in the next class we would do the hypothesis testing, we would see examples. So see you in the next class.